Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, February 3rd, 2022. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. The ES here in the daily time frame is showing some early signs of weakness here. Late yesterday here we had Facebook earnings come out, and again, that was a hard hit here to not only to Facebook but also seeing that hit several stocks across the social media space, metaverse space, so a down move here early on. One of the things we talked about was this zone up here, coming into this area up here. How was price going to respond to that zone? Are we going to see a response at that market structure edge, which would then take us back down to the bottom for another go round? Or is this down move here going to provide a great shakeout leg, and perhaps we finish with a buy signal here after a tremendous sell-off? That could be a higher low required to get this thing going to the upside. So right now we're seeing quite a bit of weakness here. At the moment, still a very bullish uptrend, but there is the potential to see a higher low develop or a failed new low, which could push this thing higher. So right now, watching to see how it plays out here early on, but a failure to hold above 4,500 starts to push this thing back down a bit, and perhaps even as low as at 44.12. That's the FOMC key level from January. Since it was taken bid here, a pullback to that zone could be retested and taken bid again. So we'll be looking to see how far this pullback takes us here. Taking a look here at the NQ, down 2.6% here, also showing weakness here. You can see the pullback here. By the end of the day, we had a bearish outside or a failed new high that almost went to a bearish outside day, all in the final hour there, in the final minutes of the day. Big sell-off there to the downside, and a sell signal here coming into play. That's a trend confirmed sell signal like this one, and the fact that it's forming in a downtrend suggests that we are still in a downtrend, responding to the previous month's midpoint, and the first strength so far is being met with selling pressure. How far down do we go? That's the question. Are we going to come all the way back and retest these lows of January, or do we just come back and form a higher low and reject with another great signal here off the quarterly low, and then that could provide a good bounce back up? So again, on the way down right now, likely a bit more selling pressure here toward, at the very least, the FOMC key level, 14,478.5, maybe a bit lower, and then from there we'll see how this thing plays out. Maybe not all today. Again, it depends on how this early move occurs, but clearly any failure to hold 14,400 could be significant. That's the previous week's close, and that could be a magnet for price as we had rallied away from that level Sunday and Monday. All right, let's take a look now at crude oil. Crude right now down about 1% and has pulled back below the 8-period average here. That's the 8-period pivot-based EMA. Anytime price pulls back below that moving average in an uptrending market, it tends to be an opportunity to look for rejection or a trap for a bounce back out. So we got to move. We got to barely below it here. We're still in that narrow range for the most part. Got above it yesterday, pulled back into the range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. We can count off 6 days down here and look at that measurement right now. A developing 6 days, 59% of ADR, and the potential here is for about a 7-point move out of that range. So 67 points based on how many days we're looking at here. Based on the overall uptrending market, again, if we get one good down day, one good shakeout, something like this, for example, that could provide a very good bounce and continuation, and we'd be looking at prices beyond 90 up ahead. So again, building that energy for the next push and likely higher. Let's take a look now at Bitcoin. Bitcoin down right now 2.9%. This one here also firing a modified Pima crossover signal at the pivot range, a lower value relationship, also inside the bearish Pima trigger zone. So multiple uncorrelated confirming factors right there to suggest that the downtrend remains intact. And on this next move, much like I mentioned yesterday morning in the pre-market video, if we did get a push downward, what happens next? Do we start to form a higher low? Do we get a quick lower low failure and a divergence play there? How does that play out? But if we don't see signs of support soon, there could be a flush that takes us into that next major area of support down below. That's 29.30, and then you have that significant CLVN at 25. All right, let's take a look now at Ethereum here. Ether futures down 4.6%. Also firing a sell signal, a trend confirmed sell signal. Also bounced down off of the pivot range, the lower value relationship. And then you have your bearish Pima trigger zone as well right in here. That continues to be offered every time price pushes above that 8-period average. So right now, still a lot of uncorrelated confirming factors right now suggesting that the downtrend is still intact. We are on this day, we are on this day, we are on this day right now. So how much downside does that bring? Does it bring one of these big waves, a medium wave, a small wave? Each wave has actually gotten bigger since the change of trend here. So do we get another big push down, and does it take us to 1700 down below? Again, at this moment, it continues to honor this strong low right here and has pushed higher very nicely. So, you know, again, if there is some way to get some sort of buy signal here on a rejection tail, where you get a higher low here, that could still play in for a shot at making a run at 3,000 up ahead. But for right now, again, things are pointing to the downside, at least in the near term, until proven otherwise. All right, that's it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the new day of trading. See you in the trading room. Take care.